My name is Fahim Siddiqui, and I'm the CEO of Fahim Nanji Desouza. We are a consulting firm that was established in 1987 with three partners, Roland Desouza, Fahim Siddiqui, and Ghulam Ras Nanji. To say a little bit about my early years, uh, my father was working in jute, and so we grew up in East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh. And that's where the foundations of my education were laid. I studied in St. Gregory's High School and then intermediate from Notre Dame College, and finally enrolled myself in the Engineering University of East Pakistan University of Engineering and Technology. And I was meant to graduate in 1971. And I'm sure everybody remembers the events of 1971. Uh, Hardly one or two classes were held, and then everything was wound up. 25th March, army action happened, and by December, we had lost that part of Pakistan. Uh, from there, uh, I went through the tumultuous events of 1971. I saw the entire drama, all the way from the army action to the revolt by the Bengalis, the Mukti Bahini, the Indian attack on East Pakistan, the war that erupted in December, resulting in ultimately the loss of the eastern wing of Pakistan. We were stranded there, being non Bengalis, and then the next 22 months were spent in that POW camp. Uh, for those who have seen the movie The Great Escape, uh, the camps were similar. There were army barracks which were surrounded by barbed wires with watchtowers, and in the intermediate space, there were dogs with sentries patrolling. And we were not really prisoners of war in the real sense of the word because we were not part of the army. But we were ultimately given a euphemism which was called civilians under protective custody. And we ended up spending 22 months there. Frankly, as much as I can remember, it was a relief to be in the camp because at least you now knew that nobody would come to kidnap you or kill you or whatever. In the environment that was there in Dhaka in those days. Uh, After I think 22 months later, we were repatriated through Wagah border. Each family was given 300 rupees and ticket to travel to Karachi. And we landed here on the 30th of November 1972, 73. And the next day, a friend of mine, Shahzad Ahmed, in fact, friend of the family, he took me to NED Engineering University on the 1st of December. And I'm extremely grateful to him for his efforts. Anyway, so since I had papers with me indicating that I was in the final year in 1971, I was admitted into the engineering university, and most of the classes had finished by then. There were probably 4 or 5 classes still happening, and I had not touched a book in 22 months. So, gathered books, made friends, got notes, and the only thing I was doing between the time I landed in Karachi to the time the exams happened in May was studying like 18 hours a day to be able to appear in the examination, the final year examination of the mechanical engineering department. Anyway, the results came out, and I was able to get the third position in theory and overall the fifth position because I didn't get enough time for my final year project, and that led to some loss of marks. So, anyway, uh, before my graduation even happened, I was offered a job in international consultants. This was a local company, consulting firm for air conditioning and plumbing, led by Mr. Sayyid Murtaza Kazmi, who was our visiting professor at NED. And he offered me a job, and of course, money was the need of the hour. And I accepted the job. The starting salary was only rupees 500. But remember, that was 1974. So, started working there, and when the results came out, I was offered jobs by better companies. I remember Steel Mill and ICI giving me offer letters at twice or three times the salary that I was working at. But then somehow I decided that I would like to stay in a small firm and maybe be in a position to show my mettle better than getting lost in a vast machinery of a large organization. Of course, life is like a chess game, and I don't know what would have happened had I joined ICI or the steel mill. Nevertheless, I stayed with international consultants all the way to 1987. Now, the interesting part that I would like to tell you about is in 1977, 3 years after my joining international consultants, we were commissioned to design the air conditioning and the process cooling system for the nuclear reprocessing plant at Kahuta. And I was the lead engineer because in those days it was Mr. Murtaza Kazmi and myself. And I had developed myself very substantially to be able to design air conditioning systems quite well. And the way this happened was by teaching myself air conditioning and related subjects, because international consultants had a very good library of books and catalogs. Those were not the days of internet where you got everything by a click of a button. So getting knowledge was not easy. And work would be over by 5 p.m. And I would sit there and, read those books till 8, 9, almost every day. And I think that study of all of the books and catalogs that Mr. Kazmi had brought from the USA probably laid the foundations of good engineering in me. And so this nuclear reprocessing plant work started. I ended up designing the air conditioning and the process cooling system. And we were interacting with, Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan virtually on a personal one-to-one level. So the Kauta story is a successful one, and because of my performance and appreciation by Dr. Qadir Khan, Mr. Murtaza Kazmi offered me partnership into the company, a 30% partnership in 1979. Obviously, that was something that was very welcome, and it resulted in my earnings substantially increasing. And so the journey continued with Mr. Kazmi. In fact, my marriage was delayed by 6-7 months because of the Kahuta commitment. But when I got married, I did take time off to do a 2 months honeymoon with my wife, obviously. So till 1987, International Consultants was growing very well. We were starting to get good projects. But I felt that my views and philosophy of life had substantially different from what Mr. Kazmi was espousing in those days. And while money was one of the factors, I decided the more important element in life is how you want to lead it. So even though he offered me 50% partnership, I decided to end the partnership in 1987. And now we move on to the next chapter of my life, which is the founding of Fahim Nanji Desouza. Now starts my journey with FND. Three partners who came together, Roland Desouza, Fahim Siddiqui, and Ghulam Abbas Nanji. Roland was my batchmate in NED University in 1974, but he was in the electrical department while I was in the mechanical department. Ghulam Bas Nanji was a structural engineer uh, that he had obtained a master's degree from USA. So while I was working for international consultants, I was meeting Abbas Naji and Roland D'Souza on various projects. They were both working for Tariani and Company at that time. And obviously, we struck up a friendship and a dialogue ensued. And what with my feelings of despondency in my previous partnership with Mr. Kazmi, this idea of making a new engineering firm started. We met with our families, with our wives, and there was a good camaraderie between us. And yes, this is how the idea of FND formed. And we finally decided to launch it in July of 1987. Both Nanji and Roland D'Souza were very upright people, very good engineers, believing in good quality work, honest living, all of the ideals that I espoused. And so it was a coming together of minds. In 1987, Roland, Abbas Ranji, and I decided to form this company. And for days, we worked on different names and finally decided that it would be best to name the company after ourselves because that would project the responsibility that we are willing to undertake when we do work.
My name is Roland D'Souza. I'm an electrical engineer and I'm a founder member of Fahim, Nanji and Desouza, which was established in 1987. The story behind FND is that both Fahim Siddiqui and myself were working from different companies in a project with Arshad Abdullah at the Johnson & Johnson facility. And Arshad, who knew both of us well, but separately, thought that we could working together and the market needed a firm like ours. So Fahim and I got into a dialogue and decided at that time that we should also incorporate a structural engineer to provide complete engineering services for buildings. Nanji was a classmate of mine from Inter Science, and Fahim also knew him since at the time he was or had been working with Tariani, the architect. So we got together and formed Fahim, Nanji and Desouza. FND provided an advantage to clients, to architects, to people who used our services by giving an integrated approach to the engineering of a building, be it a factory, be it an office building, be it a residential building. When an architect employs engineers, there is a large amount of coordination to be done between the structure, between the electrical, between the mechanical. But when one employed a company like FND, one got this all in one place.
So it was putting yourself forward and accepting any good or bad that comes with your practice. So we rented a house in Razi Road, PCHS. Not a very large space because teams were small in those days. And I have to say a few words about Roland and Anji. Both were very upright people, very good engineers, uh, very honest, believing in honest living, believing in delivering good quality work. And FND at that time provided MEP and structure on a number of projects. And the ones that I can remember are the Commercial Union Building in Karachi, the one building in Rawalpindi, I'm forgetting the name now. And it was, to my mind, a wonderful experience of electrical, mechanical, and structures coming together under one roof.
When I started consultancy, I worked with Thariani and Company, and on a part-time basis. And Thariani was like a mentor to me. Very intelligent man, very good architect, good professional. And when I was considering this working along with other people and forming a company, I went to him for advice. And one of the things he told me, he says, a partnership is like a marriage. So you've got to work on all the details, and you've got to have the ability to give and take. He says it's very much like a marriage. The kind of problems that you have in a marriage, similar to the problems you have in a partnership. And he says most of the problems are due to money. So Fahim and I decided that we would try not to have those problems. And fortunately, over the last 37 years, there haven't been too much of that kind of a problem.
There was this complete coordination that was happening in all these disciplines, and the end product that we delivered not only was fully coordinated, but there was a philosophy at work that was uniform in all the three designs. So anyway, 1987 started off. We managed to get the Gillette plant in Hub. That was a very large plant at that time. And somehow we were selected. And Gillette took us to Delhi to see the plant over there. And ultimately, we delivered a very good quality plant. The Gillette company had sent a director from USA who set up the entire process of appointing consultants, building the factory, and establishing a working team here. And that was quite an amazing experience to see this person at work. And when we had finished the project, we got two reference letters, one addressed to me and the other addressed to Roland. And I think that's we recognize those letters as a very important element of our performance. Nanji unfortunately decided to leave Pakistan and migrate to Canada. And so we decided to close the structure department because running a department without a partner is not easy, and we didn't want to just hire people and run a department. And we felt that we would not be able to get a good partner to replace Nanji. So that department was closed, and then FND continues its journey of doing electrical and mechanical systems. The company name FND had become reasonably popular, so we retained that name even though Nanji was not there. So finally, as we started growing, we shifted to State Life Building number 5, also known as Al Aqua House. It's a very old building of Karachi, probably built in the mid 40s. And since then we have been here. We had about 5,000 square feet of space on the ground and mezzanine floor. And by 2020, I felt that we needed more space. And of course, as time was progressing, Roland and I also felt that the succession of FND planning in that direction was extremely important because unfortunately none of my children are engineers. Amazingly enough, 3 of them are doctors, but one is an IT professional and the other is in administration, business administration. Ase, my number 2 son, he is part of FND today.
My name is Fahim Siddiqui. I'm the HR manager over here. Um, I've been at FND for about 8 years now, and rolling with the current situation of the country, increasingly challenging position of human resource management, keeping in mind the volatility that we are all managing in. So we're taking it as it comes.
Uh, but we felt that I needed more space, and luckily, Siemens, who used to occupy the fourth floor of this building, had vacated this space, and 10,000 square feet was available. And so we contracted with State Life and rented out 4,000 square feet. We hired Hasnan Lotia, architect of good repute, to design our offices. Uh, it was a breath of fresh air, an amazing transformation. I think it made an amazing impact on the environment, both in the improvement in working of the individuals and their general motivation towards working better. I do feel that, when you spend 8 hours of very productive time of your life in an office, the office should be very nicely done. So, Alhamdulillah, we had managed to hold on to money over these years, which we then invested back into the business in putting up this new office. I call this FND's inspirational wall. I do believe very strongly in the ideals of the Qaid-e-Azam and what he stood for. This side is quotes about the Qaid-e-Azam from people like Lord Mountbatten, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, and so on and so forth, and Stanley Walpert, what they said about the Qaid-e-Azam. And on the other side here, we have the Qaid's quotes, what he said to as a message for the citizens of Pakistan. And this here is, of course, again, a motivational collage of all the people who work at FND. They keep changing, so I'm not sure everything is very latest here, but these are things that I think improve a working environment. This picture was taken again at the Qaid Mazar in January of 2023. We assembled all our staff along with some of their children as well, as you can see. And we spent half a day there. We took this picture, we had a town hall meeting, and then we had lunch for all the staff. So it was a good day, an opportunity for me to pass on the message to my people who work for FND. And I think this is a photograph that will be remembered for quite some time by those who are there and those who come and see it. It's a good shot, I like it. And at FND, we believe in empowering the personnel who work here. We're trying to give them best of facilities. Upstairs, we are making a cafeteria. We're making an auditorium which will be used for training facilities. There will be a games area for people to use during break time, and possibly we are also thinking in some kind of a small gym. So, as far as succession planning was concerned, we realized this is a very important element as we were all growing older, myself and Roland. And we hired an eminent chartered accountant company to advise us on the formation of a private limited company. That took time. It took almost a whole year by the time the structure came through and we were all in agreement. And we then gave out shareholding to our existing staff, Fahad Abdullah, Usama Qazi, Zafar Ahmed, and Waqas Jafri. These were four engineers who were working for FND for the last 7-8 years. And Roland gave partnership to Naveed Jabbar, who was working with FND for maybe 15 years or so.
मेरा नाम नवीद जब्बार है। मैं FND में डायरेक्टर इलेक्ट्रिकल डिपार्टमेंट हूँ। मैंने 1993 में UET लाहौर से इलेक्ट्रिकल पावर इंजीनियरिंग में ग्रेजुएशन की थी। इसके बाद 93 में ही मैंने FND को ज्वाइन कर लिया था और ये मेरी फर्स्ट जॉब है और इंशाल्लाह मुस्तकबिल भी FND के साथ ही वाबस्ता है। हमारी कंपनी इस वक्त पाकिस्तान की सबसे बड़ी MEP कंसल्टिंग इंजीनियरिंग फर्म है, जिसमें 120 इंजीनियर्स और दीगर टेक्निकल स्टाफ है। मुझे अपने मेंटर्स, फाउंडिंग मेंबर्स रोलन डिसूजा और फ़हीम सिद्दीकी के साथ काम करने का मौका मिला। हमारे फाउंडिंग मेंबर्स ने इस कंपनी के अंदर इंटेग्रिटी, ऑनेस्टी और हार्ड वर्किंग का जो कल्चर डेवलप किया है, इस कंपनी की कामयाबी के अंदर ये तीनों फैक्टर्स का बहुत बड़ा अंसर शामिल है। मुझे इस कंपनी में काम करते हुए बेशुमार प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम करने का मौका मिला। उनमें से चंद एक प्रोजेक्ट्स लैंडमार्क प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, जैसे लाहौर के अंदर एम्पोरियम शॉपिंग मॉल है, जो कि 27 लाख स्क्वायर फीट का एक शॉपिंग सेंटर है। इसी तरह एक पैकेजेस शॉपिंग मॉल है, जो कि 1.3 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट का प्रोजेक्ट है। इसके अलावा बेतहाशा इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोजेक्ट्स हमने डिज़ाइन किए, जैसे हांडाई कार प्लांट है फैसलाबाद में, वो हम लोगों का डिज़ाइन है, जिसको मैंने निगरानी में मुकम्मल करवाया। इस वक्त जो एक बहुत ही अहम और प्रोजेक्ट है वो है इंडस हॉस्पिटल कराची, जो कि कोरंगी में एक 1100 बेड की हॉस्पिटल एक्सपेंशन हो रही है। उसकी डिज़ाइन और उसकी सुपरविजन के काम की निगरानी भी मैं ही कर रहा हूँ। इसके अलावा हमारी और मेरी ख़ास तौर पे जिम्मेदारियों के अंदर यंग इंजीनियर्स को डेवलप और ट्रेन करना भी है। हमारे डिपार्टमेंट में तकरीबन 20 ग्रेजुएट इंजीनियर्स हैं, जो कि 1 साल से लेके 10 साल के तजर्बे के हामी हैं, और उन लोगों की मुसलसल ट्रेनिंग और उनको नए डिज़ाइन की टेक्निक से वाकिफ़ कराना भी हमारी एक जिम्मेदारियों में शामिल है।
And they are now the backbone of FND. We inducted Khalid Rabbani this year. Khalid Rabbani used to work for FND about 20 years ago, then he went away to Dubai and came back and joined FND, and now he's one of the directors of FND.
I'm Khalid Rabbani, one of the directors in FND. My area of expertise in HVAC systems, and I am part of mechanical department. My major is in sustainability. Recent assignment is a UBL building in Islamabad, Jinnah Avenue. We have revamped the HVAC system of that building. It's almost complete in design and will be tendered soon. Another assignment I'm working on is to take FND beyond borders. Our recent trip to Saudi Arabia revealed that there is a lot of potential for us to expand, and the level of service we are providing here is very much comparable to any other international consultant. So we are trying to expand ourselves into Saudi Arabia, Middle East, and perhaps in other regions as well.
And we're thinking of further succession planning beyond these directors. So, younger people who are working with us, whom we call high flyers, we have given them some shares as well. So, this is a evolutionary process, because as I see it, ultimately FND will in the longer run be an employee owned entity.
My name is Fahad Abdullah, and I'm working at FND at Deputy General Manager Mechanical, and I'm also one of the directors of the company. My career at FND starts in 2005. In fact, 2006 March. I graduated in 2005 from NN University in Mechanical, and working 3 months in Park Suzuki, I realized that that is not the career I would like to pursue, and then applied at FND, and then from there I am continuing in FND and have grown a lot. My teachers, my colleagues, and my friends helped me in growing at FND from a trainee engineer to the position I am currently at. I have so far designed about 150,000 tons of air conditioning and like about 200 projects. So I'm very hopeful for very futuristic FND, and growing it into multiple offices locally and also globally.
I'm Zafar Ahmed, working in FND since 2007, Deputy General Manager and one of the director in the company. I'm the team lead for the fire suppression department. Currently, I'm looking after various textile industry projects. Basically, Pakistan Accord is implementing in Pakistan, and we are looking after different textile industry to go through their audits, fire audits, to achieve the compliance in the fire in their fire suppression. And I am also certified fire professional specialist from NFPA.
FND provides electrical, mechanical, engineering consultancy services for all kinds of buildings, be it a hospital, an office building, an apartment building, an industry. We are well-known experts in the pharma field. And when we talk about mechanical engineering, the major cost element is central air conditioning systems, uh, plumbing systems, fire suppression systems, uh, utilities for industries of various kinds, which can be quite complicated. And on the electrical side, we do lighting and power generation and distribution. We do ELV systems, also called ICT, information and communication technology. And FND provides complete services from cradle to grave, if I may say so, from the inception of a project with the concept design in line with the architectural requirements of the project. And we take it all the way through detailed design, tendering, procurement of contractors, supervising the project during the construction stage, and being part of the commissioning process and certifying commissioning and handing over to the client. So this is an A to Z of AVP systems that FND provides.
My name is Waqas Jafri. I am part of Fahim, Nanji and Desouza. I am one of the directors in the company, and I serve as a Deputy General Manager in the mechanical department. My prime focus is on the pharmaceutical industry and the F&B industry, food and beverages. I've been lucky enough to be associated with F&D for the past 18 years. I graduated from NED University in mechanical engineering in 2006, where I first joined an automobile firm, manufacturing firm, in start of 2007 in their management training program. Somehow the manufacturing industry didn't appeal to me, and after a rigorous 6 months, I realized that this was not my cup of tea. And one fine day, I woke up and decided I'm not going to continue with this anymore. And after consultation with my colleagues, whom I'm fortunate enough to be part with at FND, they suggested me, and I consulted with them, and they told me that you should join this consulting firm. So I called up Mr. Fahim Siddiqui. I specifically remembered the date, 3rd of August 2007, and I told him, sir, I would love to work with you and your firm. And so 7th August 2007, I joined FND as a trainee engineer. And with the passage of time, I was then promoted to project engineer in 2011. I left FND in 2011 to pursue my career in the Middle East in Qatar. In 2011, I left FND, and I'd been part of an international firm where I completed airport extensions and crew accommodations, along with some very critical projects such as flight simulators. And I joined back FND in 2013 October, and I've been associated with the firm ever since. I was inducted as a director also in 2013, and I was made responsible to develop a pharmaceutical department, so to say, to cater to the MEP and utilities for those departments, and then I worked a lot with the food industry as well. Some of the notable projects in the pharma industry that I completed was the Get Sastola project, a huge million square feet industry set up in Korangi for Gets Pharma. I was lucky enough to be part of that project. It's the only lead platinum certified pharmaceutical plant in Southeast Asia, and needless to say in Pakistan. Apart from that, I've been associated with projects of CCL Pharma, Martin Dow, Renacon Pharma, Oncogen Pharma, which is Pakistan's first vertically integrated oncology facility. Then I've been associated with projects for Hilton Pharma as well. In the food industry, I've been associated with projects of magnitude of a 2 million square feet facility for National Foods located at FIDMIC, Lahore. One of the most interesting projects that I've done is the Ecoline plant, in which we had to replicate the Swedish facility here in Sundar Industrial Estate in Lahore. I've been associated with Hilal Foods as well. One of the most encouraging projects for me, which was the Khaplu Palace located in Skardu. The project was recognized for its conservation by the UNESCO. Another project which was very dear to me was the Al Murtaza Academy located in Hunza by Madam Diana MacArthur. This hat on the back was given as a token of appreciation to me and FND's efforts to complete the MEP of the project. You see, FND gives a vast platform to all engineers to explore their abilities. We believe in motivation, integrity, and we are all self-driven individuals. And this is the practice we impart upon the young engineers as well.
This is Usama Qazi. I am one of the directors in FND Consulting Engineers and Deputy GM. I joined FND in 2007 after graduating from NAT University in 2006. I started my career from Indus Motors, and then within a month I shifted to FND, and I've been continuing here since the last 18 years. I've been looking at public health engineering and utilities designs in FND. I've been privileged to work under the supervision of Fahim Siddiqui and Nanji Desouza, both of the mentors. Happy to deliver one of the largest mall in Pakistan, that is Emporium Mall, covering an area of 2.7 million square feet. Quite recently, I've been working at one of the largest ink plant in Pakistan for DIC. They are setting up a plant in Qasur, for which I've designed the plumbing and utility systems as well as managed the overall project delivery. FND is responsible for complete design of MEP system for that project. Apart from DIC, I've been involved in many of the projects of packages real estate, a few projects in textile industry, in which we have been designing the utility systems for that. We have recently designed one of the largest fiber bleaching plant in Pakistan for Gul Ahmed, in which we have designed energy efficient water use systems so that water, which is the main component of fiber bleaching, can be reused, thereby reducing the water intake impact. As a director, I see a very promising and dynamic future of FND. We have been investing a lot on the technical growth of our team and employees, which form the basis of our expertise. FND has been working to deliver the most efficient and LEED certified buildings. We have quite a few projects to our name which are LEED certified. I wish FND the best of luck for all the future endeavors and look forward to play my part in its success.
Over the 37 years of history of FND, we have completed more than 1,500 to 1,600 projects of diverse size and type. But the ones that are memorable and that stand out in my mind, starting from the beginning of FND, would be certainly one of the first projects that we did was the Gillette plant. Then we did the Commercial Union building where the architect was Abi Fidali, the National Art Gallery, Sohail and Pasha, the Ghulam Ishaq Khan University at Topi with Naqvi and Siddiqui. We have done many malls. In fact, the relationship with Dolman Group is quite long since they came to us way back in 1988 or 89. And since then, we have been virtually involved in all of their projects. From the first one on Tariq Road, followed by the Dolman Clifton, Dolman Hyderabad, and now Dolman Lahore. In Lahore, we have done the malls, Emporium, and packages. So these are well-known and landmark projects that we are quite proud of. But there are numerous projects that FND has done. One of our pride was the SSGCL head office building. Then we built the ABN AMRO Bank buildings in Lahore and Karachi, the MCB Tower in Karachi, the National Monument in Islamabad, lots of pharma plants for multinationals. There are others also. We have some LEED certified buildings, among them being the Hive project in Islamabad, the World Bank building in Islamabad. Both of them have gold, and the GETS Pharma project got. This is what is good engineering practice. When I look back, I think the most important element is one of integrity, both in the designs and in your conduct. Now, MEP systems have become very complicated over the years. I think they cost anywhere between 30 to 45% of the total cost of the project today. And it's the client that reposes the trust in the MEP consultant to ensure that the money is well invested and that the operating costs are low. Therefore, engineers need to be up to date in their profession, which is not a difficult task today given the availability of the internet. They need to be up to date both in practices and in the codes and standards that apply. Codes and standards are becoming more and more stringent, and over the years, the amount of codes and standards that an engineer has to know is substantial. It's a good effort. It's a great effort needed to be abreast. These standards keep changing and revising, and so you need to be up to date as well. A good design must be functional. It must serve the purpose for which it is intended. It must conform to standards. Energy efficiency is an extremely important element of design today because of the cost of rising cost of energy, and also because of the need to make green buildings that impact positively on the climate change. Worldwide, globally, buildings contribute anywhere between 30 to 40% of the energy used. And therefore, it's incumbent on designers of MEP systems in buildings to ensure that they're designing to good standards. In the air conditioning industry, ASHRAE 90.1 and 189.1 are great guidelines for designing energy efficient buildings. Beyond that, you need, you making drawings or a design is not the end all. Ultimately, the project must be built, commissioned, and must operate properly. And for that to happen, proper supervision during construction is extremely important. And unfortunately, the contracting industry in Pakistan has not developed as much as one would have liked to in the MEP field. If you look at Dubai or Saudi Arabia, the contracting firms of out there, they are able to deliver quality work and they need not be spoon fed. Unfortunately, I have to say this with regret that there's a lot of spoon feeding that is required to be done with the contracting firms in Pakistan. As far as the engineers are concerned, it's incumbent on them to stay up to date. I think the net is an invaluable resource for information, which they must then convert to knowledge. Information may be available at fingertips today, but that does not necessarily mean that a person becomes knowledgeable. Imbibing that information and transferring it into your design is an extremely important element. Sustainability and climate change is an important element of MEP design in buildings. Climate change is one of the four existential threats to mankind, the other three being a meteorite strike on Earth, an atomic warfare, and a pandemic. An existential threat is one that is able to wipe out humanity, and climate change certainly has that potential. We're already experiencing climate change. I think in the past couple of years, I have never experienced weather as warm, as humid as we have seen. So it's starting to happen. There is a Paris Agreement where we are trying to limit the temperature increase of the planet Earth to not more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. That's the 2030 projection. We are already in 2024 and we are beyond 1 degree centigrade. So it's incumbent on us that we save energy, and basically climate change is due to the carbon dioxide that we release into the environment by burning fossil fuels. And if you look at Pakistan, we produce 46,000 megawatt of power. To produce that amount of power, 62% of this power comes from fossil fuels. And this is the power that we consume in buildings. And the lower this power is, the more sustainable the buildings become. Everything has a carbon footprint. For example, if you have a tile that's manufactured in Karachi and installed in a building in Karachi, the amount of energy used to build it and transport it to the site would be much lower than if it was built in Spain and transported. So, as I said, everything has a carbon footprint. So, sustainable design looks at all of this. Sustainable design also looks at producing sustainable power, which is hydel, solar, wind, and the like. I think, climate change is one of the more important elements that we should all be focusing on. But as far as the general public is concerned, I think the perception is not there. The clients who come to us for design, I hardly think of anyone saying, I want a sustainable building. The nearest that they come to is a LEED certified building where energy uses plays a role in establishing the numbers for LEED certification. But at FND, we have always practiced energy efficient designs, and there is always the effort to lower energy consumption. About what I do in my free time, unfortunately, I hardly have any free time. In my younger days, way back in 1978, I started a collection of cactus plants along with my brothers. All of my brothers have moved away. I have maintained the collection, and it's grown to a very large collection which people recognize as being the best in Pakistan. Whenever I travel abroad, I'm always visiting cactus nurseries and cactus gardens all over the world. And in doing so, I've developed a global friendship with the collectors virtually all over the world. So I know people in America, Japan, Germany, Italy, Spain, and so on and so forth. I make it a point to visit the annual cactus conference that is held in Brussels called the ELK. So that's something I've been doing for many, many years. But unfortunately, I realize that I am not able to enjoy my hobby as much as I should. My time is taken up doing other things as well. Formed the Cactus and Succulent Society of Pakistan in 2000, and it's now, because of WhatsApp and social media, the membership is about 800, but it has become less formal but more communicative. I am the life chairman of that society. I have a passion for gardening as well, and I'm a member of the Horticulture Society and served as its chairman for 8 years. I retired from my second term in 2023. Beyond that, I give time to the Qaid-e-Azam Mazar Management Board. I've been its member for the last 6, 7 years, trying to do things to better that area and that iconic area of Karachi. We are trying to build a park in the southern periphery where all the political meetings are held. And hopefully, there's been a lot of disruption due to change of government because every time a new government comes, the board changes. But we are hoping, inshallah, to build that park over there. There are plans to renovate the museum, which is like 25, 30 years old now. Those plans are also in place, and hopefully soon a new museum would also something I would look forward to. Recently, we formed an organization called Sabka. This is the Urdu word Sabka, which means all together. An advocacy group who has plans to address the issues that face Pakistan in our own way. It's not easy for people like us to go out on the streets and, start a protest movement, but we can make a change through advocacy, and that is our intent. Message to the younger generation, and frankly to all generations, is a very simple one, which I have tried to follow in my life, is to be a good Muslim. And that does not only mean following the rituals of the religion, but the essence of the religion. Honesty, integrity, truthfulness, uh, love for your family and parents, love for humanity, doing good for others. We should all be able to imbibe these lessons in our life, which would make us a far better human being than we can claim to be as we see in Pakistan. For the younger engineers who enter the profession, it's extremely important to grow yourself. When you've come out of the university, you have been given a theoretical background of various subjects, but their application in the field requires many years of experience. That can only come with time and investment in your own growth. Most organizations are not learning institutes. You work in these organizations, but you must focus on your own growth in these organizations, which is spending time to learn. Unfortunately, I see a substantial element of impatience. Everybody seems to want to make money very quickly, which I think is a great fallacy because I think money comes with time. It will come and it will be proportional to what you make yourself. So if you grow yourself to be a better person in every way, a better engineer, a better personality, a better human being, then money will follow you. It is what you do with yourself that really matters. So that's my advice basically. And I see my younger directors finding great difficulty in communicating with the younger generation, even though the difference between me and them is much more than between my younger directors and the Generation Z or Generation Alpha that's there today. But yet there seems to be a lack of communication. I have especially planned to make an auditorium upstairs where I want to address the younger generation in a more formal setting and give them values that they can take with them all their life.